What is going on, guys? It's the Mad Dragon. We are back doing the final prediction video. That's right, we're on to the final one. It's going to be Italy's games, and I know a couple of people are going to be like, but what about the other teams? You haven't mentioned all the other teams. We have mentioned all of the other teams. Pretty much over these 6 videos, we will have mentioned every single game that's going to be happening. We're just looking at it from the viewpoint of the teams that play every game. It was the easiest way I could find for it. It's pretty much arranged to be pretty much the Six Nations teams actually are just going to be the order that we're going to be doing these in, and they actually cover every game. There's no point me talking about like an Australian game setup because we will have literally mentioned my prediction for every game along the way. So today I'm in a light blue shirt. Lockdown's not been the friendliest to me, and that's why it doesn't close anymore, so I'm wearing it over the top, but it's the only piece of light blue clothing that I own, so hopefully the Italians enjoy a bit of light blue that I'm wearing here. So Italy, unfortunately, again for Italy, the Six Nations going bottom of the table. There are glimpses of hope now in terms of watching teams like Benetton doing very well, and some of the club level teams being able to show off that they've got new players coming in. The Italy under-20s, however, are actually looking really good. There's a couple of players there that I can see in the not-too-distant future potentially being poached and added into this Italian team. They've got a winger, and I've forgotten what his name is now, but he's got something going from their left winger in the under-20s. Keep an eye out for him because he'll be coming up soon. So Italy showing off a little bit more. Ioane, a couple of new people coming back into the team, which is nice to see. The Italian team is beginning to bulk out a little bit. It feels like they're getting a bit more of a set team together. I would just like to see more people play in a position. There's a lot of swapping around. Trula, I think, played pretty much every position you can in a rugby team over the course of the Six Nations and just struggled in most areas for him. I would like them to see more set players in set places, try and get some groundwork going, allow them to build rather than keep interchanging players. But looking forward to these autumn internationals, what have we got going on? What a tough game to start off with. Italy versus New Zealand. Now, I'm not sure if this actually might be New Zealand's first game as well. So New Zealand, they're going to be out for blood. I think, we'll get the prediction right off the bat here. I think it's going to be a New Zealand win. Let's put it that way. I think New Zealand are just going to come out storming for this one. I wouldn't be surprised if they maybe even don't put out a full team for this. I would maybe go for a 50-50. I do half a first, half a second string team and get out there. But we saw them playing Tonga. You know, very much what you'd call a tier 2 nation in rugby, and the All Blacks put out pretty much a starting team. They put a World Cup final on and they demolished them 100 and something to nil. So New Zealand will absolutely be looking to just demolish this game. I think Italy could be in for a long day on that one, unfortunately. It would be nice to see Italy get a couple of scores in here. They definitely have the potential. There's more players. The kick to corners working better for them. Some of the running play they've got going on, they're using actual set plays now, which is nice. They're using actual techniques to try and get round, not just this one-man ball carrying into a line thing. There's genuine movements going on. Having Canna and Garbisi on at the same time, 2 fly halves, 2 playmakers. They've definitely got it in to try and get some scores, but I certainly think New Zealand will be looking to take this one. This one will be coming up in the World Cup as well. So, you know, if this was any other team, I would maybe say this would be the game Italy are looking to target. But I think everyone targets New Zealand. I don't think that's a fair judgment. It's going to be one we will be seeing in that World Cup, though. You know, beating either New Zealand or France could be seeing Italy get through to the quarterfinals in a World Cup. It would be nice to see, but I think they've got the hard work cut out. So for that one, I think I'm going to predict a New Zealand win. On to the second game, Italy versus Argentina. Now, Argentina will have a couple of good games in this one there. They're playing Italy, they're playing France, they're playing Ireland. They've got a lot of going on here and a couple of big teams going on here. So it'll be interesting to see what Argentina do. I'm not fully versed on the Argentina team. I could tell you a lot about the starting 15. I'm not super up to date on how depth of squad works for them. I'm not sure if they put on a second string team versus Italy, it will be anywhere near their starting team that we saw beat New Zealand, less than a year ago. I'm not sure how much the dip is, if there is anyone who knows about Argentina or is an Argentinian subscriber. I have no idea if we have any. Make sure you drop it down in the comments how you think the depth of squad around Argentina goes, because I'm not really sure. I would imagine they will have played France and then they go on to play Argentina. They go on to play Italy, sorry. So I would imagine Argentina would still have a lot of players available. Argentina are only playing 3 games as well, as far as I'm aware. So maybe they'll put full first string teams on, but it'll just be depending on injuries, whether or not that impacts the Italy game at all. Italy, again, will have to go first team for this one. Will they be able to take that on? I'm not really sure. Argentina, discipline not good. And I feel if Italy could actually exploit the Argentinian discipline, if they could get them riled up, get under the skin a bit, win some scrums against the head, get a few turnovers. People like Lamaro coming in now. There's a couple of big people. Bramstein, where's Bramstein? If they can get these people back in, if they can get people who are jacklers, big ball carriers back in, and try and just disrupt the Argentinian play, maybe you could annoy them enough to give away enough penalties to allow people like Garbisi, who's got a good percentage kicking ratio when he's, within that sort of 30 to 40 metre range, I would probably say he's got a relatively good kicking percentage. There's a good chance you could get some points on the board here. And like I said for the New Zealand one, I think they have the players to score tries. They just need to sort themselves out. I think Argentina will have had a bit more experience in being able to beat the Tier 1 teams, though, than Italy. Unfortunately, we don't get to see it in the Six Nations that Italy get to win any of those games. So for me, my prediction is going to go to Argentina, but this will be one I'll actually keep a bit of a closer eye on leading up to the game as to whether or not there's the potential opportunity for Italy to have a bit of an upset here. So keep an eye on that one. And finally, the final game we will be talking about in these prediction videos probably will be Italy versus Uruguay. Now, Uruguay in the last World Cup had a win in the World Cup, which, doesn't sound like a massive thing, but for Uruguay, there was passion. We had tears. We had the captain in tears out of passion that they have for this game. They love it in Uruguay. This team is dedicated to try and get better. I just don't think they have a lot of the financial backing, the training facilities, the ability to try and push rugby that much, and they just can't quite hold up against some of the big teams. And getting that win in the World Cup was such a massive deal to them. And I think this will be a nice game. I feel like this will be a game Italy might enjoy a little bit more as well. There's the potential. We don't really get to see it from Italy a lot, but for Italy to maybe not put out a full strength team. Now, this is the game where I would be saying you want to look at some of the younger lads and actually looking at whether Italy can, I guess Garbisi is still quite young. He's like 23 or something, isn't he? But, you could take some of the big names off and bring in some of those under-20s lads, some of the younger lads, put them on, get them some experience in playing these big teams. Because Uruguay, as much as I think that you would probably rate them, I don't know if people would class them as tier 2, low-end tier 2, or maybe even a tier 3 nation for Uruguay. They're certainly not getting a lot of wins in World Cups and stuff, but they're getting wins against some of the other teams. When you see, some of the lower end games and stuff, they are getting wins. They have the ability to win games. So I think Uruguay will offer a good game to Italy here, and this will be a game I'll actually want to watch. This will be a good watchable game for anyone who enjoys rugby. This will be a bit more open, a bit more interesting, because Italy will be allowed to explode a bit more. They won't be just confined to just being boxed in and having big teams like New Zealand smash them. Uruguay will want to play expansive rugby. Italy will enjoy the ability to throw the ball around themselves as well. So in terms of a prediction, I'm going to go for an Italy win here over Uruguay, but I think it'll be a really, really fun game. Again, injuries coming in between the New Zealand and Argentina games could see Italy down to a bare-bones skeleton crew, and in which case, there's no reason Uruguay couldn't win this. They don't have the backing, they don't have the coaching and so on, but they could really push to try and win this game, get another win under their hats, beating what is still a Tier 1 nation. I think a lot of people would still class Italy as the Tier 1, probably the lower end of Tier 1. But they're still Tier 1. And beating an Italian team for Uruguay would be a huge boost, especially with hopes for them to try and get towards the next World Cup as well. Hopefully, we get to see that game, but that will be a fun game to watch. But that is now all of the games that will be going on over the Autumn Internationals. There is one more. I believe it's like Samoa versus the Barbarians. I have no idea who the Barbarians is going to be made up of. And I don't really know how Samoa have been getting on. I think they beat Tonga. But I can't really comment on that till we know who they be playing, as to who would win that game. So there's no point me doing a prediction on that. But we have now covered every single game. If you think there's any I've missed off, make sure to drop it down in the comments. I'm pretty bad at these sort of things. I tend to miss stuff off. But make sure as well, you drop down in the comments who you think will win these games that have been going on. Italy versus New Zealand, Argentina and Uruguay. What order do you think it will go in? Do you think Italy will have the best autumn nations of their entire lives and beat New Zealand and Argentina and have a clean sweep? Do you think they'll lose every single game? Do you reckon Uruguay will come out of the blocks? I like reading the comments, so make sure you drop it down. Of course, we will be doing more videos leading up to the Autumn Internationals. We'll be doing the preview videos that we do. We might even get some review videos in there. We'll see how it all gets on. It's going to be pretty hefty as it's going to be going on, fitting them all in. I actually get to go and watch some games. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm going to be going to the Wales versus New Zealand game and the Wales versus Fiji game down at the Principality, so I'm going to go see some live rugby. And it'll be so nice to have someone. We haven't had any rugby for ages, it feels like. So many other sports get so much time on television, but international rugby just not there. But if you have enjoyed this video and enjoyed this little series series of prediction videos. Make sure you drop this video a like. It really does help the channel out. And if you enjoyed it and want to keep up to date with all the latest videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out. So I hope you've all enjoyed today, guys, and I will see you next time for some more rugby news. See you next time, guys. Bye-bye.